in and see the train wreck that is Teddy and I hosting NFL Live together.
I'm sure it's very tough for you guys to sit there and talk football.
I believe in you, man. I believe in you. I expect great things from you and Teddy. Yeah. I mean, everybody looking at you saying, "Oh, we happy, stinking, and Teddy, they're gonna do great. They're gonna do great. Oh, good luck, guys." I expect greatness. I know how knowledgeable y'all are. I know you know your football. I love your style, your presentation. I expect greatness.
The man hasn't slept in 4 consecutive days.
I'll be watching.
Now, you know what? The worst thing that happens is I could embarrass myself. I've done that my whole life. Yeah. So, I mean,
I do it every day.
Ain't gonna hurt me.
Awesome. All right, Mark, let's get into it. How does the loss of Anderson impact the Broncos in the AFC?
You know, interestingly enough, I mean, I don't know how long C.J. Anderson is going to be out. I mean, there's no telling right now. Some people are saying a couple of weeks. Some people are saying this is a season-ending injury. So we don't know at this point because of the meniscus repair. But I will say this. They made a move last week. They started Booker. Devontae Booker started for the Denver Broncos Monday night against the Houston Texans, and C.J. came off the bench. Now, C.J. is a bowling ball. As Trey Wingle likes to say, a bowling ball of butcher knives, right? He is a guy that can move the pocket. He's a guy that's got a lot of muscle in his forehead. He'll tattoo you with that stuff. He has been inconsistent over the course of his career. But I'm telling you, Devontae Booker got an opportunity to start. He came in there on Monday night, and that guy played like he had a rocket up his can. I mean, he was going. He was coming off the ball. He set the tone. And what I like the Denver Broncos, what they did, because their offensive line has struggled at times, their offensive line played pretty well after the first couple of series where they had a couple of penalties. They played pretty well, but the coaching staff developed wrinkles in their running game. It wasn't just straight wide zone left, wide zone right. It was counter. It was power. It was pitch strong. It was toss weak. So they basically implemented other things to take some pressure off that offensive line. And Booker was tremendous outside the tackles, basically starting runs outside, having those cutback lanes. So I really don't think it impacts them that much.
Let me ask you this question. Broncos are 5-2.
Yes.
They lost 2 in a row to Atlanta and San Diego. Prior to that, let me throw their victories out at you.
Okay.
Carolina, ain't the same. Indianapolis Colts, don't get us started. Cincinnati Bengals, nothing to brag about right now. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's when they were 4-0. And now they beat Houston.
Right.
Is it possible that as we look at the Broncos, they may not be what some people think they are because we haven't really seen them extremely tested as of yet? You say what to that?
I would say that defensively, even against Atlanta, even against San Diego, they limited. Now, they gave up some big plays, but they limited points. And they adjusted during the course of those games to actually play pretty good on the defensive side of the ball. There is no question that defensively they are talented. Here's the beauty. Sometimes, and I always say this, when I've won, I've never really learned anything about myself because I'm too busy patting myself on the back and telling me how great I am. It's when you lose, human nature, when you're winning, you don't look at the little things. As Herm says, you don't sweep the corners. Coach Herm Edwards all the time. You got to sweep the corners, right? And when you're winning a lot, sometimes you don't sweep the corners. And losses like that, for me, really made you look at yourself critically. Made you go into a critical mode from looking at what you're doing as a defense, where your weaknesses are, what the blueprint is, and how to adjust to that. And we saw some of those adjustments on Monday night against Houston, albeit not the same type of offensive weaponry of Atlanta or even of San Diego. And what I'm talking about is that inside, being able to match up running backs or tight ends in the middle of the field. San Diego does it well. Atlanta can do that well.
So in other words, I am making Stephen A. Smith a better debater because he has to look at himself after all these losses every day.
The corners?
Yeah.
Right.
He does some self-examination. Mark, they played the 2 best offenses in the NFL in consecutive weeks. And as you said, they didn't give up a whole lot of points.
Right.
But C.J. Anderson, to my eyes, and obviously they're not the expert eyes that yours are, particularly with that team, by the way. To me, he seems to be a big part of what they do offensively. And when you have a marginal offense with a essentially rookie quarterback, and you're really reliant on your defense, I find usually you lose a running back's not the end of the world, but in their case, couldn't that be a tipping point in the suddenly very competitive AFC West with the Raiders on the come up and the Chargers looking better than expected?
So if we're talking out for the season, I think in the short term they'll be fine. I think Booker, there was a reason he started, because he's ready, because he gives them a little bit of wiggle, he gives them a little bit of a better outside attack, if you will. With that said, CJ off the bench was phenomenal last week. Monday night, he was great. And when you talk to guys inside the Broncos organization, they'll tell you he's one of the smarter players they have, especially in pass protection. So that's going to be cause for concern long term. If he can't come back, what you really miss from CJ is at the end of the season, he always seems to get better. He always seems to get stronger, and he always seems to be the guy that becomes that battering ram toward the end of the season. So that's where I would be concerned, but in the short term, I'm not that concerned.
Real quick question. With CJ being gone, A, what's that going to do to Trevor Siemian and what he's going to have to do? And B, what should we look at in terms of the AFC West as to whether or not Oakland and Kansas City can usurp Denver?
Right. I think there's a couple of different things. Now, for Trevor Siemian, it puts more on his shoulders. He's still essentially a rookie quarterback, but it puts more on his shoulders there's a lot of opportunities basically in a check with me package. If this, check to this. If that, check to this. That's how they run it in Denver. So it puts more of that onus on him to be able to recognize a bad play into a bad defense and be able to switch those. You saw him do it Monday night. I would expect him to have to actually take more of that weight upon his shoulders. So that's where Trevor Siemian comes on. That's really that's the biggest issue, I think. Puts more of the weight on Trevor Siemian, but it puts weight on everybody. When you lose players, it's always one of those things as an organization, you say we all have to step up.
Are they still the best team in the AFC West?
I think that they are defensively. You look at Oakland, they've got defensively, they're the worst in the league right now. In Kansas City, I still am concerned long-term offense if they can consistently win the big games with their offense. But it's a tight division. There's no question about that.
Mark, thanks for being with us. We'll check you out on NFL Live. Have a wonderful weekend.
It is a pleasure. You guys do the same.
We'll see you next week. All right, let's talk a little Brady, shall we?
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
There's a huge NFL rematch this weekend as Tom Brady and the Patriots head into Buffalo looking for revenge for their Week 4 loss, where the Bills won 16-0 at Gillette Stadium. The difference this weekend will be Brady. He missed the first matchup due to his 4-game Deflategate suspension. Stephen A., do you give the Bills a chance against the Patriots?
No, I do not. Not at all. Not only did they beat the New England Patriots in their first meeting, they shut them out, okay? I don't think that's something that sat very, very well with the New England Patriots. I think that they're going to have a field day with Rex Ryan and his Buffalo Bills, particularly since we don't know about the availability of LaShawn McCoy, because obviously he shouldn't have played last week. He was hobbled, and people felt that he might have taken a step back due to how he should not have been on the field and tried to play hurt last week. They dominated the New England Patriots in the first go-round. Tyrod Taylor didn't do that great of a job. 27-39 definitely was efficient. 246 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions. But Jacoby Brissett, 17-27, 205 yards. He was sacked 3 times. Wasn't that effective? Your leading runner, LeGarrette Blount, only rushed for 54 yards. They could not do anything offensively, even though Martellus Bennett did have a big game for them, 109 receiving yards in that game. I'm just of the mindset that with Tom Brady back, with Rob Gronkowski in full tow, he played that game. He had 1 reception for 11 yards against Buffalo. You really think that's going to happen to Gronkowski twice in the same against the same team in the same season? That's not going to happen. So I expect Gronk to get off. I expect Martellus Bennett to get off. I expect Tom Brady to get off. And by virtue of that, this defense that played pretty well against Buffalo, okay? I think they're going to have a field day. I expect a relatively lopsided victory. I think it's going to be tough for the first half, but I think New England will pull away in the second half and win by about 15.
Do you remember before the first meeting between New England and Buffalo, we sat here, and Molly, you asked the very same question. Does Buffalo have a chance?
I asked it better this time.
And do you remember your answer?
I said no chance.
Well, what did I say?
I was wrong.
Recall?
A chance?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I gave him a good chance.
No, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
I give the Bills a good chance again. FPI, by the way, ESPN's very own has it as 51-49, essentially as a toss-up. Now, true, they have Brady back, and that's not a small thing compared to a third-string rookie quarterback.
Oh, no.
But it better not be a small thing, because Rex Ryan's defense won 16-0. So you get 3 points. When odds makers do the odds, they do the spread, you get 3 points for being at home.
Okay.
That's a 6-point swing, because now they're playing at Buffalo.
Okay.
So that's like winning 22-0. If you were set, if you give them 3 and 3, that would mean that Tom Brady now has to be 3 touchdowns and a field goal better as an offense. You add Tom Brady, he has to be 3 touchdowns and a field goal better for the Patriots offense.
Let me put you on pause with a question there.
Yeah.
You don't think Tom Brady could be 3 touchdowns better than Jacoby Brissett?
Oh, no. But that's to win. That gives the Patriots a chance. We're asking here, do the Bills have a chance? Should the Patriots be favored? Yeah. I'll tell you why the Patriots should be favored. Because Bill Belichick doesn't lose to divisional rivals twice in the same season. Doesn't happen.
Okay.
You don't shut Bill Belichick
Thank you
out
for making my
if
case.
you play in the division.
Thank you for making my case.
And he will make adjustments.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm touched. Thank you.
That's the reason to think that the Patriots, not just that Brady's coming back, because he has a long way to go to beat the Bills if you look at the Patriots offense.
I'm sorry. That's all you got that I didn't mention the coach? You want me to mention the coach too?
Well, that's the main reason.
I'm just saying, do you want me to go and find out what he orders at Starbucks and make sure he has the right stuff for the morning too?
You know why the Bills
mention?
won the game the first time? It was the defense. It was a team that was rallying around at the time an embattled coach, because Stephen A. Smith was on TV practically calling for. In fact, you were calling for Rex.
I said I told him he was on the
hot seat.
But I said, by the way, let me be
and I told you at the time that a player's coach, where it pays dividends, if the players like him and they feel like he's on the hot seat, they'll play for him.
That worked for Gus Bradley last night, huh?
No, well, by the way, that's how you know. That's how you know Gus Bradley's actually done there.
Exactly.
They didn't play for him.
Exactly.
They did not play for him. They played for Rex Ryan.
But I'm saying to use this. Rex Ryan is still on the hot seat. Let me be clear. I haven't let him off because I don't give a damn if the Buffalo Bills win 11 games this year. I don't care if they go 11-5. If they don't make the playoffs, it will mark the 6th consecutive year that Rex Ryan has been a head coach and his team has missed the postseason. That is egregious for you to still remain a head coach. I have no doubt that he deserves to be a defensive coordinator. And by the way, even that's a question mark right now, because I don't know if you've noticed, not only did you fire your offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, and bring in someone else, and they've been 4-1 ever since, you also took away play calling duties on defense. You've left that up to Dennis Thurman. So let me get this straight. You got an offensive coordinator handling this business. You finally step back and let your defensive coordinator do the job instead of you trying to do it for him, even though you brought in your brother to help out. And I'm just saying, okay, if that doesn't get you to the playoffs, you've tried it every other way. You need to go.
If you think the Bills don't have a chance because here comes Tom Brady.
That's what I believe.
And now the defense
That's what I believe.
They're not going to shut him out again.
That's
what I believe. They don't have to shut him out. But as I mentioned, you got a lot of points to make up with Tom Brady in the offense, number one. Number two, the Bills on the season are leading the league, number one in the NFL on sacks per attempt.
Yeah.
Number one.
All right.
They get to the quarterback against everybody, not just the Patriots.
Well, let me say
they
this.
are an elite defense that the Patriots are now facing.
Let me make this point for clarification when I say I don't give the Bills a chance. That means under no circumstances am I envisioning a scenario where they will win. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's not going to be a tough match, or it can't be tough, or it can't end up being a nail biter, even though I don't believe that. I am saying under no circumstances, I should say injury would be the one thing, but under no circumstances would Tom Brady and